team.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Quick one more time.
Yeah, just on the final play, the inbound pass, like you bobbled it for like a split second before you gained control to get the win, get the basket. And just how big was this victory for this team?
It was big. I knew I had like 3.6 seconds, I think, on the clock. So I knew I had time to figure something out to get the ball in the basket. But I know it's a big win. You know, we need to continue on. And, you know, we got Florida coming up, so we have to be able to prepare for that and get ready to battle again.
Thanks, man.
Hey, PJ, congrats on the win. So 14 games, nearly 8 years since Georgia's been able to beat Kentucky. You know, just being a part of that, being one of the biggest parts of that legacy, kind of how does that feel for you? And, you know, where's your mind at right now?
It feels great. It feels amazing to be able to beat a team like Kentucky. They obviously was a good team and coached by a great coach. We came to battle. We came to fight. You know, we had the belief. You know, I believe in my teammates. You know, Sai was telling me the whole time, like, we're gonna win this game. We're gonna win this game. And I just went on and played to my best ability.
Okay, let's have Chip Towers and then Davis Baker.
Yeah, PJ, I'm wondering, the first inbound play didn't go very well, and you guys came out in a totally different set. What went wrong on that one, and what was discussed in between the two inbound plays?
The first inbound play, we never ran before. We ran maybe one time in practice, but we never really had to cover it like that. So and plus it was a more complicated play rather than something we can get off the fly. And I feel like it was a good job by Severe to be able to call a timeout to regroup, you know, and not force anything that wasn't there.
Right.
Hey, PJ, I know you've played in a lot of games, a lot of big games at that. Where does that shot and that play rank in terms of your basketball career?
I can't say. I feel like it's definitely a top 5, top 3 maybe. I know it's a great experience to hit a game winner. That was my first in collegiate basketball. So, I mean, it ranks up there.
Okay, let's have Jed May and then Mark Weiser.
Hey, PJ, kind of 2 questions for you. One, that sequence, I think between the time Severe's shot gets blocked and the final inbounds, I think there were 3 timeouts called. Just what goes through a team's mind in the huddle like that when there's just so much time to sit and think? And 2, as a team tonight, do you feel like you guys, I guess, are growing up and this game helps you know you can find ways to win when it comes down to the end?
I feel like it helps. It helped with us. And one thing we did good in the huddle is all we thought was about executing play, you know, whatever coach draw up, execute it to the best of our ability and try to get it done. And we never really thought negative about anything. We just like, okay, we got to win this game somehow. And we had to figure it out, you know, so we went with what coach had and he drew up a great play. So he went with that.
PJ, you said maybe top 3. What would be number 1 and 2 in your career?
I don't know which one. It's a kind of a toss up between my freshman year when we beat Duke and we go to the tournament. We won the last regular season game to get into the tournament. We beat Duke at home. I would say the next year, actually, at home, we end up beating them again at home at BT.
Thank you.
Okay, let's have Palmer Tones and then Ryan Curley.
Yeah, PJ, I know Coach got the Powerade bath over the weekend. What was the scene like in the locker room after this one?
It was a great atmosphere. I obviously got jumped on, but it was a great feeling. My teammates they were hyped. We was all hyped in there, you know, and celebrating the win because it was such a I guess, an intense win. So it was very, very intense, I guess.
Hey PJ, what was going through your mind right before that ball was inbounded to you, and did you know that was the play designed for you?
There was options. I mean, when he drew it on the board, you know, there were different options for someone to get the ball and score. And Severe he threw it to me, and I knew I had 3-point-something seconds on the clock, so I ended up trying to find a way to get the ball in the basket.
Okay, let's have Tori Heck and then Mike Griffith.
Hey, BJ, following up on that, is that stack of play you guys have practiced and worked on in practice, or is that something that coach just drew up in those last couple seconds?
Coach drew that up in the last few seconds, but it was a right-on play, and it was a easy executed play. You know, of course, it wasn't easy getting like the play done, but as far as knowing where to go and when to go, the timing part was more like easy.
PJ, were you aware of the streak of the 14 straight losses to Kentucky going back to 2013? Coach mentioned that, and is this? Can you say it's a statement win? I know you're already talking about Florida, but is this significant in any way beyond just being one game to you?
Yes. Hearing my teammates talk about it, the veterans that are here like Ty Fagan and Tamani, Tavir, they all told me they haven't beat. Well, Ty Fagan told me they haven't beat him since he's been here, and I was like, wow, like, you know, and shocked, because I was like, okay, y'all, I know my team. You know, they're a very good team. I just feel like it was a great accomplishment, and now we just got to keep stepping.
Okay, and last question, let's go with Jeff Schultz.
Yeah, PJ, you guys got off to obviously a pretty rough start in the SEC this year. What were your thoughts in terms of why that happened, and what do you consider the upside for this team this year?
I would just say we need to just continue to grow and continue to push through mentally more than physically, because physically we can all go out there and play. But as far as mentally go, we have to be able to believe that we can win the game, no matter if we down 5 or 10, maybe even 15. We got to always believe that we can win this game. And I feel like a lot of times we get down, and then we have to pick each other back up. And I know that over time we get better with that, and we just got to keep fighting, keep pushing, trying to get that figured out.
All right, thanks so much, PJ, and congrats on the win. Up next, we're going to be joined by Andrew Garcia. Okay, let's first start with Jeff Schultz and then Anthony Dasher.
Yeah, I'll ask you the same question I just asked PJ. You guys got off to before we get to the Kentucky game, you guys got off to a rough start in the SEC this year. What do you think was the reason for that, and what do you consider the upside for this team this year?
I would say like we're a young team, and everybody's emotional, and everybody wants to fight and wants to win. And I feel like a lot of times when we got in our heads, we kind of like dismantled. So I felt like what we learned across those games was that, you know, we're a family. We're off the court, we're always together. We're always you know what I'm saying, going to each other's houses and stuff like that. So it was about translating it to the game and keeping that positivity no matter what happens. If it's a turnover, and lifting each other up and saying, like, all right, you good, bro, next play. And I'm proud of my team, and I'm proud of the coaches. They've done a phenomenal as a whole unit. And I felt like the way we're pushing is in the right direction.
Hey, Andrew, congratulations. For PJ to be the one to get the winning basket, I mean, I know he's somebody he's really highly respected on the team. Just how cool is that aspect of it, for him to be the guy that scored the winning points tonight?
Oh, it's awesome. Like, like everybody has the utmost respect for P. Like we look at him as like the uncle, a man who plays at his pace, that knows the game so well, doesn't get sped up, and you know what I'm saying, he gets it done. Every time we need a three, he's always open and not afraid to pull it, and that's what we want him to do. So I'm not surprised that P, you know what I'm saying, he was able to make that, and you know what I'm saying, it feels good to have one of our veterans do that for us.
Thanks, man.
Let's have Chip Towers and then Mark Weiser.
Yeah, Andrew, you were playing amongst some real trees tonight. Yet you were very productive, and probably didn't benefit a lot from calls. Can you talk about just taking on their height and sort of persevering through all those block shots and all that contact and everything that was going on in there?
Well, Coach Crean and Coach McLean and the rest of the coaching staff always were harping on, you got to be low. They the last couple of days when preparing, they were drilling us to, you know what I'm saying, stay low. We knew Sar is an incredible player. He's tall, he's big, he shoot, he can move. So we wanted to beat him to the spot, make sure as a unit we call out whenever you get to the post, fire. And that kind of helped me. And I'm relentless. So any way I can, I just try to fight down there. And just shout out to my coaches just for helping us prepare, because getting those reds and taking that post away helped us a lot.
Andrew, what's it like to go from Stony Brook to having a big offensive game against a blue blood like Kentucky, to help this program get this type of win?
Oh, it's a great experience. I never look at it for myself. I look at it as just I love to win, and I feel like this is such a collective win from all of us on the team. Like the way Mike Starks came in and guarded the ball and got that steal, like that's important, and like everybody recognizes that 100%. And like the fact that like we can all come together and everybody have a part, it just makes it more memorable and makes it more exciting for everybody, because it wasn't just one person, it was a whole team that got us this win.
Up next, let's have Mike Griffith and then Ryan Curley.
Hey, Andrew, I want to ask you about, it looked like the game might have been getting away. They called, I guess, a flagrant on Ty Fagan. I didn't see a whole lot of contact from the TV replay. It looked like the guy fell down. And then they whistled you for a technical on it. I don't know. You looked very surprised to get that call after you made a basket. Can you expound on that a little bit?
I would say like throughout the game, like it was very intense. And everybody, you know what I'm saying, we played at this high level and we wanted it. So looking at Ty Fagan's call, yeah, they said that he probably held him a little bit too long. And then he obviously fell. And then with me, obviously within the game, you kind of get out a little bit. So that's something bad on my part. It's a little wound that I gotta take care of and be a leader and not do something like that, because that could have been a game. So, but then within games like this, we have to keep our composure and stay as a team.
Hey, Andrew, like you said, it was an intense game, and you're starting to get used to SEC play by now. Where do you rank this among maybe some of the most exciting games you've been a part of?
Yeah, this is definitely like one of the most exciting games. I mean, back at Stony Brook, we had a lot of crazy games. We beat some high major teams. We came in, I think my junior year, we beat South Carolina, and then we was down 20 points to George Washington and came back and won the game. So games like these are always great to be a part of, because like as a collective fighting unit that, you know what I'm saying, no matter what, we're going to win. We're going to win no matter what the score is, no matter what the odds are. And to prove something uplifts our teammates, and, you know what I'm saying, one game at a time, this is what we have to do. So.
The last two questions, let's go with Augusta Stone and then Tori Heck.
Hey, Andrew, congrats on the win tonight. I want to know, what was the team's message on the sidelines when y'all got behind there for a bit in the middle of the second half, and what inspired you guys to rally like you did toward the end?
Right. So So when we came to that timeout, Coach Crean stopped everything and told everybody just take 3 breaths. And I thought that, as cliche as it sounds, I really thought that helped us. You know what I'm saying? We were, everybody was excited, everybody was pumped, and, you know, like we kind of get out of ourselves for a second. But that little regroup is almost like a little reminder, like we got here and we did this like playing as a team. And that's how we're going to win, playing as a team. So I felt like we took those 3 deep breaths and just got right back in it to fighting.
Andrew, circling back to a comment you made early on, you said PJ is like the uncle of the team. What does he do that makes him be in that uncle role for y'all?
I mean, like day in, day out, he brings a positivity 100%. I've never seen P down. I've never seen P not bringing someone up, not bringing the energy, fighting through pain, fighting through anything that he's feeling. And that shows a lot. Like, that shows you're indispensable. That shows that, you know, we could look at him at any point in the game, if it's in the game or in practice, to do his job. And it's like, it's almost like second nature for us to be like, yeah, P for the 3. So it's like, we love that guy, and we're lucky to have him, for real.
Thank you so much, Andrew, and congrats on the win.
Thank you, guys.
And we will be joined shortly by Coach Crean. Okay, we are now going to be joined by Coach Crean. First up, we're going to have Anthony Dasher and then Augustus Stone.
Hey, Coach, I just want to start on, I guess, the second inbound play when Sevier had to call that quick timeout. I know Kentucky said the defense apparently had something that worked. He called it quick timeout, and he had to reset and get the winning play drawn. And just kind of explain kind of what happened right there.
Well, we knew what we were looking for in the action, but we also knew we had timeouts. And that's the greatest thing for a coach. For me, it's taking timeouts home, right? You want to make sure that you have enough timeouts so you get in a situation like that. You can use it if you don't get what you want. So he didn't like the look. It wasn't as open. And so he called the timeout and we switched plays. And Sevier did a great job. First calling that timeout. Second with the pass. Justin did a great job with the screen, and certainly PJ with the finish. And but for Sevier to have that presence of mind, and I never hesitated for a second having him take the ball out of bounds, no matter who they put on the ball, because he's so smart and he's savvy, and I knew he'd make the right play.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win tonight. I want to know, how much of a statement win is this for your program here at Georgia?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great win against a great program, and it hadn't been done. I didn't realize till I said this on the radio. Mike Griffith told me today it had been, Kentucky had won 14 straight. So like, I wasn't aware of that. And so I'm glad we were able to break that. We needed the win. Our guys needed to earn something like this against a great opponent. And we needed to get on a 1-game winning streak again, which is easier said than done. But to have that mentality is really, really important. So I'm very proud of the way they executed. They persevered. And we believed we were going to win. And that, I think that's what is so important, the belief factor. It's not them believing me, because I don't have any trouble believing, but it's them believing each other. And I think that's what we had tonight, and that's what we had against Ole Miss, and that's really helped us. And that's part of our growth process.
Okay, let's have Chip Towers and then Mark Weiser.
Yep. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Writing on deadline, Coach. Okay. Yeah, the inbound play in particular, what was it you were looking for on the first play and you didn't get? And obviously you came out in stack the second time around. Just talk about your decision making.
The guy we wanted.
PJ getting the ball.
Yeah, we got the guy we wanted. That's who we wanted to hit. And there's a second option to it, but that's the guy that we wanted. And that's what we wanted on the first one. And Justin Carr was involved in the screening in both cases. Because we wanted to we wanted to have a little big, right? We would either, I don't mean little, but a guard bigger screen, or it would be a big screening for a guard. We didn't want to screen like, it's too easy to switch. And went with our seniors, right, to put themselves in position to execute the action. And both plays we'd never run in a game. And so I'm very proud of the way that they responded inside of the timeout and executed it. And the second one, we had only run in practice a long time ago, right? So for them to be able to do that, but I trust them on that. We came out of timeouts against Ole Miss and executed actions that we hadn't run at all, that we just drew up in timeouts. And sometimes this team can run something and not run it correct that we've run for 2 months. And sometimes we can put something in inside of a minute and they execute it 3 or 4 times. So it's youth, right? But I'm very proud of the way they locked in, they executed. And again, everybody did their job at the end.
I mean, you mentioned persevering. Obviously, the flagrant one and the technical, you guys didn't let that lose your spirit after that. And then also, you've beaten Kentucky before, but this program, like you mentioned, hasn't for a while. How satisfying is that to get this program over that hump?
Oh, I think it's great. I think it's a, when you beat Kentucky and it hasn't been done, it's a benchmark. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, there's premier programmers there is in the country, and so. I have great respect for John. I have great respect for their program, but they're a household name for a reason because they have great tradition. And I thought our players did a really, really good job of not being consumed by any of that. They weren't playing the tradition. They weren't playing the mystique. They weren't playing the jersey. They were playing 5-on-5 against Kentucky's players, and they executed. And I think one of the biggest things is how we defended the 3. And for them to go 1 of 13 inside of the game, knowing that Dante Allen was 15 of 30 coming into the game in the league, and really Mintz and ask you a little bit, but Allen for sure with the 3-point shooting was a real key and one of the biggest things for us. And I think for us Keon Brooks hadn't taken a 3 or made a 3 yet this year until tonight. But I think those are the kind of things that I'm more proud of than just winning the game against Kentucky. It's the way we did it. And it is the perseverance. It's the defense. It's getting, 37 deflections, getting 10 steals, Justin getting 5 of them. It's persevering when it could have gone the other way. And those guys believing in each other. That's what we had to have.
Let's have Mike Griffith and then Ryan Curley.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned persevering when it could have gone the other way. I think they had a 14-4 run on the heels of I guess they called it a flagrant foul and then a technical in a game that had been pretty heated. It didn't look like much, but those 2 calls right there looked like that could have changed the outcome of the game. And yet your guys, can you talk about how they've grown? That's something you talked about earlier this year.
Well, it happened. That was the only time I was uptight in the situation because we were self-inflicting, right? And that's what can happen. If you're going to lose, let's get beat. Okay, let's not lose the game because we made mistakes, right, that we could have corrected. But we were able to correct it. I thought that the harder part was we were up 9, they called timeout, and we came out, we didn't execute. And it allowed them back in. We didn't defend with the same fervency, and we did not come down and execute what we needed to do. That's the part, and I said this to the team after the game, that's where we got to grow up in a hurry, right? That is more concerning to me than the flagrant, which could have gone. I haven't seen it. I'll reserve judgment on that. And the technical, you just shouldn't have done it, right? You shouldn't talk, right? And you hope that it's going to be called both ways in that, but he shouldn't have done it. He's too old for that. He doesn't need to do that. And we just, you're a good player. You don't need to tell anybody. That's kind of how I feel with those type of situations. But I'm way more concerned about the fact that we let that lead go at 9 when we should have really stepped on the gas. And that's what we've got to learn how to do. And it's still a young season in so many respects of that, but we've got to figure that out because what we were doing was working. And now there's no need to stop or to let the ball stick or to settle or to not keep the ball moving because you can't beat them if you let them stay in their standard defense and let the bigs just control the paint. You can't beat them, all right? And it's hard for us to beat anybody like that. That's why we've got to keep moving the defense constantly so we can loosen up the rim.
Hey, Coach, you guys did a good job of not turning the ball over as much as you do on average. How important was that in this win tonight?
I think that's one of the major keys to the game. It really is, and to be 25-11 on points off turnovers was huge because we turned them over, and some were unforced, but some we forced. Our guys were tough and strong on the ball. I think that in the 3-point defense and the fact that the rebounding was within 1 with as good a weak side rebounding team as they are. I think those were the stories of the game. The end of the game is the result and it's the drama, but those were the guts of the game, the way the turnovers worked out, the way the rebounding worked out, and the way the 3-point defense worked out were the keys.
Okay, let's have Jed May and then Davis Baker.
Hey, Coach, kind of two questions for you. One, against Ole Miss, you had the offense clicking most of the game. This was one where you kind of had to grind out the win a little bit. Do you feel like your team is growing up and I guess finding ways to win after these last two games? And then two, I saw you after the game going to the stands to hug somebody. I assume it's
Those
your
are my
family.
girls. Those are my daughters.
How emotional was that moment for you? What did that mean for you?
Well, my wife's not here. And so, we're having a hard week and my wife is dealing, she had an accident a week ago Tuesday, so she's not able to come to games and things like that right now. And my girls were there, and I just said it's like old times, right? I mean, it really was. I mean, they're there, and they've been a part of some great wins with us, and certainly been a part of some wins when we played Kentucky. And so I'm proud of them because they're home. One's 15, one's 25, but they're doing an unbelievable job, as is my son Riley, who's with us here in the program at 21, doing a really good job of living their life, but also helping make up for the fact that their mother is not as in commission right now. Is out of commission a bit. So that's all that was. I mean, I just saw them there and shared that moment with them. And but the fans, the students, just fantastic. I mean, the energy of the crowd, it was tremendous. And I thought our music was great. I thought the energy was great. Really, really good job of that. What was your first part of your question?
Do you think your team is starting to grow up and find ways to win with, I guess, the different ways they've won these last two games?
Absolutely, because we want to be a running team, and we haven't really worked on the break at all this week. And we still got out on the break, but we haven't even really emphasized it. It's been more about what we've got to do to eliminate losing. Transition defense, talk defensively, challenging shots, our blockouts. We spent no more time on anything than we did weak side rebounding over the last couple of days. We work on rebounding every day, but the emphasis was if you allow them lobs and weak side boards because of the way they crash, because the way John gets them to go to the glass, we're not going to win the game. So we have to. There's so many games within the game that you've got to be able to control it the best that you can, and so that's a grind, right? That's a tough deal. You've got to be willing to put your body on the line, all five guys, no matter what, every time that shot goes up, because if you don't, you're going to get cracked by them. And so it is what it is. The game is always giving you something, and you got to figure it out. And what we've got to stop doing is stop thinking it's giving us something that it's not. Right. And that's my job. Keep looking for what the game has given us. And then we've got to come out there and execute. And that's just where we've got to improve. And sometimes it's a grinder, but you know what? It's a thing of beauty when you get some execution on things that you work hard at. And with the rebounding, with the 3-point defense, and then to finish it off the way that we did, they really earned it. And again, it was execution. Justin Carr set a great screen. PJ got open. Sabir made a great pass.
Thanks, Coach. Praying for you and your family and your wife too.
That. Thank you, Jed.
Hey, Coach. You kind of just hit on it, but I saw your tweet this morning. Did you feel like the students and fans brought the energy tonight, especially down the stretch?
Absolutely. I mean, we've set records for 2 years, right? And it's just hard to imagine. And then here we are, and we've got 18% crowd, right? And we become accustomed in the last 2 years to play in front of these great crowds. Well, not everybody can get here right now. So we've just got to continue to get people to make up for that. And I thought they did a fantastic job of that. But I thought that the entire game operation, game management was fantastic. And really, really proud of that.
All right, last question. We'll go with Palmer Tones.
Yeah, Coach, obviously we talked to two of your older guys tonight after the game. They both said they've been in games like this against blue blood programs. How important is that experience in a game like this?
What I don't understand.
How important is the experience of guys like Andrew and PJ in a game like this?
Their experience is big.
Yes.
Right. And they need to feel, I understand. I'm sorry. They need to feel like they belong in these games. Yeah. Right. And part of the mental battle with players a lot of times right now is getting them to believe that they do belong in these games, because they'll let their confidence wane so quick. But in the case of PJ, Andrew, and Justin, they don't. And I think they're finding themselves in these situations. When you go against the SEC, in the SEC, you're going against household name teams every night. Well, Kentucky is as big as it gets in that sense. So for them to come out and execute, but I didn't think any of them had any. They were playing against the Kentucky players. They weren't going against a tradition. And I've had players that play against that tradition, and they play against that jersey, and they get distracted rather than lining up against the man they're going against. And I thought our guys did a really good job with that. And those three were phenomenal with it.
Let's have one more question from Tori Heck.
Hey, Coach, obviously we've seen what PJ can do, both with his talent and then you just said like his age on the team. What does he add to the team as far as like personality and the kind of teammate he is in the locker room and off the court and that kind of stuff?
PJ's very poised. PJ's just a grown man. I mean, he really is. He's well-raised, great high school coach, been coached very well at Virginia Tech by Buzz Williams and Mike Young. No doubt about that. I mean, no doubt about that. But he's also, I mean, he's like a young professional. I mean, he's just a young man that carries himself really well. And he's quiet, but he's happy, right? I mean, you never see moodiness. You don't see sullen. You don't see aloof. I never walk in and say, what's bothering PJ, right? And every once in a while, his knees may be bothering him or his body's hurting a little bit. And, you know, we've done a lot to help him change. He needed to make some real strides body-wise and strength-wise when he got here. And there were certain parts of his body that if they continue to get stronger, he's going to get better. And bottom line, we've asked a lot of him since he got here. And but I had no doubt we were looking to run the action for him at the end of the game. And I think a lot of it's because of the poise, and he'd be locked in and concentrated on it.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Congrats on the win.